Hi, welcome back to the channel. Daryl here, Sweet Hot Rods and Honey. And today we're going to get back to doing work on the 51 Ford pickup. And we've got all the parts and pieces epoxy primed with this black primer. And we're going to put the next coat of urethane primer on. So stick with us. Well, it's been several weeks since we've been doing work on the truck. I guess it was early June when I last did a video. But we've been on vacation out west to Montana, Wyoming, and saw national parks at Yellowstone, Glacier National Park, and Grand Tetons. And then we ended up going to Salt Lake City. And we really enjoyed that 2.5 weeks. So we're back home and we're gonna continue with the truck. We've got all the parts and pieces here ready. The doors, the hood. The hood needed a lot of work, but I think it's pretty straight. The doors are straight and we got a couple more pieces outside. But the main part I wanted to do is the cab of the truck. We did a lot of work in the back behind the cab because it was just dented and just everything was nicked. There was a fair amount of rust underneath behind the box. So we got that rust removed and sealed up with this epoxy primer. So I'm going to get mixing up some of this urethane primer, and what I'm using is let me get this down here. What I'm using is Summit's 2K low VOC primer. It's really a nice day today. We had thunderstorms overnight, and now we've got a low humidity, clear, little breezy day. So that's ideal. It is the kind of day I really like to paint because the breeze is helpful to kind of evacuate the garage from vapors. So this activator is a slow high temp, which is fine because that gives the paint a chance to level out. And we'll use some urethane reducer. So I don't know how much I'm gonna need. I'll probably mix up at least 1 quart and see how far that goes. This urethane primer typically is pretty thick. And it gums up the gun quite a bit. The tip gets clogged pretty easily. So I'm going to use a fair amount of reducer just to help eliminate that. And let's see what else. I'm going to use my Eastwood gun, and it's got a 1.8 tip on it. Probably could use something a little bit bigger just to let more paint flow. So, all right, let me get started mixing this and we'll get to shoot the primer. All right, so I was thinking maybe a quart would do it, but it's probably going to be more like 2 quarts, a half a gallon. I have about 2/3 of a gallon here. So the other parts, the fenders, the running board, and the box, I've already primed. So I hope this will be enough. I think it will be. So we'll mix this, get the solids suspended, and then we'll measure it out. So this is a 4-to-1 mix. And what I don't know for sure is how, I don't have the measuring cups, but I do have a yogurt cup, and this is what I always use to mix paint. So let me get my gloves on, and we've got the compressor ready. The gun is ready with filters. You just have to mix this paint. All right, yes. So 4 of these. Go. We'll make a double batch. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7. And this is a high build primer, so it is thick. All right, that's so we did 8, and we'll put 2 activators in. All right, we got a full cup. So that is 1 full quart. Let's mix that and see what the consistency is like. As always, a touchy part, because this is where I usually spill it. All right, this is pretty thin. So I may not be using as much reducer as I thought. I've used Eastwood 2K primer, and that's very thick, and you really do have to reduce that. This is Summit Racing's home brand, and it's not as thick, so it's not as much of a build. Breezy, so it's not too breezy that the spray vapor will, or the spray will get out of whack, but it's enough to flush out the vapors from my garage. All right, let's see, let me get set up here, and my hands are all messy. I'm gonna do this side of the garage first, because then I won't be dragging the hose across everything over here. So, I'm gonna get my mask on. Alright, we're good here. Let me get the gun. Okay, we got our paint. That's very annoying. I think I've got to reduce this down. I thinned it with some reducer and it looks good.
we have to mix some more paint. That was a full quart, and we almost got there. So I want to finish up this back edge of the cab, and we've got 4 pieces outside of the front cowling. And then I'm gonna, whatever's left, I'm going to hit the doors again because they have sandpaper scratch marks in that are showing through. So I just want to thicken that up, and then we'll finish that off with I think 330 or 400 sandpaper before we put color on it. So, all right, let me mix up some paint. I think we're gonna have enough.
Well, we're done shooting primer. We got everything done. Ended up using a half a gallon of paint, and I think things are looking pretty good. I like being in this at this point. I really don't like the body work, but anyway, we got primer on everything. We've got the hood, and there's a couple spots here that we still have to put a little bit of skim coat to take out a scratch. And same with these doors. There's a couple spots on the bottom edge that are a little rough. Even though it's going to all get sanded down, it still may show through. The other door is looking good. We put 2 coats of a primer on the doors and part of the hood. Back on the body, on the cab, that's looking great. I had a couple scratches on the roof, I don't know if you can see, but when I brought it out from underneath the lift, these cables scraped it. So I gotta be careful putting it back in. I'll have to lift it up a little bit and then work the truck back under. But we got all of that done. We did the sides of the front of the door. We did the jambs. Finished up with the firewall. So things are looking pretty good. Now we'll be back to sanding again, but it's the kind of sanding that I don't mind because it doesn't wear you out. So let's go outside, and we have these other pieces that I have to do too. So we have the cowl, and where the 3 teeth go, I call them. This is for the air vent on the front of the cowl, and these are headlight mounts. This is where the hood gets latched into, and I'll have to hit the bottom of this with maybe with some rattle can high build primer. So it is looking good. Last night I washed it all down, took it outside, power washed the whole truck and the hood, and then hit it with degreaser soap. So it's been degreased. Oh, I forgot to show you. We're going to try to make a very nice dashboard. So we're going to be putting Dakota Digital gauges in here that'll get tied into the engine directly and get oil pressure, temperature, and tach. So that'll come off the engine's computer, and which is right there. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this process of priming. I'm very happy with the Summit Racing primer. It was, I don't remember, it was a little bit cheaper than Eastwood. Eastwood primer because I just never had good luck with it. It seemed to always gunk up the gun. But what I did learn is that, well, I use the slow high temperature activator, but I use more, and I think you're not really supposed to use reducer, but when I did use a little bit more reducer, it made the gun flow and paint flow a lot easier, so it made a better job. So that's what I'm going to do in the future. So I'm going to just let this set for a while and go eat some lunch. It's around noontime, and the weather is great. It's still breezy, low humidity. So I call this a job done, and I'm happy that it's finished because I can go on to the next steps of prepping it for a final sand and a little skim coat in a few small places, and then we'll start putting color on it. So anyway, we're all done for today, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate all your support. If you could, hit the like and subscribe button and notifications. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out. So I'm glad that you could join me today, and hope that you learned something from, seeing other people do it. All right, thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.